up guys, KRS here back with another video. Today in this video we are talking about the OnePlus announcement. OnePlus has launched a sudden announcement like three phones and one tablet. So without any further ado, let's get started. Well, starting off with the OnePlus Pad or OnePlus tablet, whatever you can tell it. Talking about the display, you'll get the 144 Hz of display, which is the IPS LCD display with the 11.61 inch is of the screen, which is the great, and the nits is like 500 nits of brightness. So overall, the display is not an excellent, but with the refresh rate, many can adjust. Well, talking about the OS, you will get the Android 13 out of the box with the Oxygen OS of 13.1, which is the great thing. Oxygen OS is many preferable by many of the person, and the processor is also powerful, which is Dimensity 9004 nanometer processor, and you will get the Mali G710 MC10, which is the crazy, and this is the fastest processor comparable with the 8 Gen 2. While talking about the battery, you will get the battery like 9510 mAh, which is the crazy battery. I think this is the low because many of the iPad are going 10,000 and above that, but it is okay because OnePlus is I think the first time with coming with some of the flagship thing in the pad or tablet. Also inside the box you will get the 67 watt of wired charger, and the color variants over here is available only one, which is the yellow green. Well, talking about the storage, you will get this only one variant available, which is 8 plus 128. I think if you are coming with this much powerful processor, then there are chances that you might come with 256 or even 512, but this is only one, not a 4.0 UFS over here, 3.1 only. So this is a bit down point, but let us see if there are chances they might bring the 256 or 512 also. The camera are only two in all the pad, 13 for the back, and in the front 8 megapixel. In the back you will get the 4K recording, and in the front you will get the 1080p recording. Well, talking about the pricing over here is kind of interesting because has been not announced what it will come in the India, but many are the chances that it will come around the 40,000 INR rupees, which is not great, but it is a crazy because iPad are quietly expensive, but this thing with this power is worthy, and you will get the 2.0 Type C. Well, now let's talk about this pad. Talking about this pad is very interesting, especially for the pricing. But the one question is that the processor is great, but this is the 5G because they hasn't told about any 5G bands. But this is a crazy processor. But if it's not a 5G, many might be just ignoring because many are using this for the cellular thing or for the calling purpose also. But if this thing is not included, many can't skip this thing. Also, the camera over here is kind of awkward thing because many times if you are just gripping your pad, it will always just click on your hands, as you can see the position. So it will be hard to get used to with this, but it is the great, and many might be using by the not a portrait but landscape to get the proper image. Also, as I told you, the variant is only one, and 67 watt is the great. So overall, in the terms of all the things, the pad is great by the OnePlus. But let us see what is the original price, because the 40,000 INR is the expected price. If this thing is coming in that price, then you can buy this one because you will get the power of the 9000, which is not a pad processor. It is a flagship thing, and as I told you, compatible with the 8 Gen 2. Now let's talk about the two phones, which is the OnePlus Ace 2 and OnePlus 11R. So why the two phone is the question? Because one is the refurbished. So if in the some region might be coming with the 11R and in some Ace 2, there are chances that in India 11R might be appeared. Talking about the bands in this phone, you will get around 10 to 11 bands in both the side by side phone. Talking about the display, you'll get the 120 hertz of AMOLED display, or we can say fluid display as preferred to your region name. And the inches is like 6.74 inches of the display, which is a great thing, and the 120 hertz is also there. Well, talking about the operating system, you will get the Android 13, and with the Oxygen OS 13 or Color OS, as depend on the region. And the processor over here is Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 with the Adreno of 730. Well, talking about the battery, you will get the 5000 mAh of battery with the 100 watt of fast charger inside the box, or maybe not, depends on the region. And the color is sonic black and graphite silver. Now, talking about the storage, there are lots of variant, but depends on the purchase and depends on the consumer satisfaction. If they are very much satisfied and they need more storage, then there are chances they might come with the more variants. So two variants are confirmed, which is 8 plus 128 and 16 plus 256. But otherwise, if someone needs something unique like 12 plus 256 and 16 plus 512 is also available. And do you need just 16 GB of RAM? Just tell me in the comments. And the UFS is 3.1 over here. Now, while talking about the camera, you will get the triple camera setup, which is 58 plus 2. Talking about the 50 megapixel, you will get the 1.8 of primary camera. The ultra wide is of 2.2, and this is the first phone with the flagship in this year and having the 2.4 of macro in both the side by side. This is the same. Also, talking about the video recording, you will get the 4K at 60 fps. In the front side, you will get the 16 megapixel of camera with 2.2 of aperture, and with the 1080p at 60 or 30. Now, while talking about this two phone, or only one phone as refurbished or rebranded thing, this is not a crazy phone, because the price tag is gonna say 30 to 40,000 as I am expecting, because the camera over here are not crazy. You will get the 58 plus 2, which is acceptable in this price range, even though the processor is kind of powerful, but this thing will be can't be focusing on the gaming only, because you will get the best processor and 120 hertz. So many are choosable for the gaming, and even the 10R was more focused on the gaming side. Well, now let's talk about the flagship of that OnePlus 11. We are not making the OnePlus 11 or OnePlus video, because there are the questions that we are not fulfilling. They are coming in the flagship category, and if we see the 10T or the 10, they were not in the flagship thing, because the camera were not as great as thing, but this thing has blew away. You will get the 20 bands, which is kind of crazy in this phone, beating the Samsung S23 Ultra in the band category, which is a very crazy thing. Talking about the display, as I was thinking, they had provided the LTPO3 display, which is the great display with the 6.7 inch, and the peak brightness is 1300 nits, which is acceptable, and with the 120 hertz of refresh rate. Well, talking about the OS, has similar, has all the certain Android 13 and the Oxygen OS 13 or 13.1. While talking about the processor, you will get the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is the flagship processor, and as I told you, 9000 is kind of compatible with that thing, and you will get 740 of Adreno over here. So this kind of crazy thing in this phone till now. Well, now talking about the battery, you will get the 5000 mAh of battery, which is kind of great, and the 100 watt of wire charging. Now the one thing is, you will not get the wireless charging as well as the reverse wireless charging. So that is the minor point, because you are getting something like the flagship and you are not getting this thing. Now while talking about the colors, you will get the two colors, which is Titan Black and Eternal Grey. Now let's talk about the storage. You will get the four variants over here, which is 8 plus 128, 12 plus 256, 16 plus 256, 16 plus 512. Now for the 128 you will get the UFS 3.1. Rest of is carry forward by the 4.0 of the latest storage, which is great thing. Now while talking about the camera, the primary camera is of the 50 megapixel with 1.8 aperture, and the telephoto is 2.0 with the 32 megapixel and aperture is 2.0, and the ultra wide is 48 megapixel which is the 2.2 aperture with the Hasselblad. Their great branding collaboration and 8K at 24 fps. In the front side, you will get the 16 megapixel of camera with the 2.5 aperture and 1080p at 30 fps. Well, talking about this phone. So now why I'm impressed with this phone because of the pricing which is coming is like under 60,000 or we can say 57,000 for the base variant, which is a great pricing. Well, phone itself is the great because now you will get the best camera which was not possible in 10T or as well as in 10. The camera has been updated from the single digits megapixel to double digits megapixel. So this is a great thing. And the other side, you will get the proper band which were lagging in the OnePlus. Also, the storage variants are great, but one thing is not over here is like the Type C is a 2.0 which can be updated, but it is okay because 100 watt is supporting. And in US, you will get the 80 watt. Also, the primary camera of the 50 megapixel is kind of OIS in both the Ace or 11R and in OnePlus 11. So another minus point over here 11 is only one optical image stabilization is there. Nothing in the ultra wide. Also the periscopic telephoto is missing. And I cannot say display is the plus point of this phone because they have gained something which OnePlus cannot give in the 10T series and the S23 Ultra Mid cannot give. And they kind of say updated, which is the latest LTPO 3, which is also a plus point. Overall, the wireless charging is lacking, but in this price range, this phone is acceptable because the better camera and in the certain form factor, it is great. And just tell me in the comments, are you using the wireless charging or are you stick with the wired charging? Because wireless charging are not as great capability as the wired these days too. It will come, but this technology is new as compared to the old wired charging. So, are you willing to buy the 11? Just tell me in the comment. Hopefully, you like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Press bell notification to also never miss any other update coming soon with another.